I was told today that polls and focus groups show many Brits, not just the young, don't know what anti-Semitism is. Well, gather round. Mireille Knoll was 85, in a wheelchair, suffering from Parkinson's. She'd survived the Holocaust, but not an attack last Friday in her Paris council flat. Stabbed 11 times and burnt to death because she was Jewish. That, dear viewer, is anti-Semitism at its deadliest and most depraved, which is how it always ends up and which is why it can't be tolerated. Those still in doubt need to educate themselves fast.
But now, anti-Semitism has infected the Labour Party, so it's become endemic. I'm deeply ashamed of my party. And whether he likes it or not, Jeremy Corbyn has a lot to answer for. He has encouraged anti-Semites and he's endorsed them. In the modern world, using social media, their conspiracy theories about Jews and statements about hate spread like a disease. And this virus is affecting the Labour Party.
And Robert Winston is with us now, as is Aaron Bastani, a Jeremy Corbyn supporter and co-founder of Novara Media. Welcome to you both. Aaron Bastani, why, in the words of Robert Winston, is anti-Semitism endemic now in the Labour Party?
I think there's a few explanations. One is the party's membership's tripled in the last few years, so obviously there's been a mass increase in people that could potentially be persuaded by these ideas. I agree with what you're saying about digital culture. I think the internet has a huge role to play. I think if you look at that mural, there wasn't just the anti-Semitic trope of these 6 elderly men playing Monopoly. There was, Masonic symbolism. There was somebody holding a placard saying New World Order. And this was like a melange of online conspiracy theories. And for me, it had always been a constant background noise. I hadn't really taken it very seriously until maybe the Trump election. And with Labour, I knew it was there online. Personally, in my CLP, it'd always been very cordial. So there was a dissonance there. But when I saw the Corbyn response to this mural, which instantly struck me as anti-Semitic, there was something of a realisation personally where I thought, wow, this really is unacceptable.
When I was at school and university, and it may have been the same for you, Michael, the anti-Semitism then was pretty much the preserve of the knuckle-dragging right in British politics. Are you surprised that it now seems to be so prevalent on the hard left?
I am surprised, although I think what Liz has said about its origins are exactly right. I think what Aaron said earlier is exactly right. I've had my own particular shock this evening because I thought Aaron had come on here to kind of take a different point of view from Robert. But when your opening question was, why is it endemic in the Labour, why is anti-Semitism endemic in the Labour Party? The response was not from Aaron, it isn't, but rather an explanation about how the digital world had changed the Labour Party. So actually that has left me in a state of shock because, I hope that someone this evening was perhaps going to argue that this was exaggerated and that there was more hope than appears to be the case.
But you don't think it's been exaggerated then?
I think there's been an issue where the claim is that it's been weaponised by certain parts of the Labour Party. But for me, that's immaterial because it's so important. It's clearly so widespread that shouldn't matter. And then you now see people saying, well, actually, it's worse than the Tory party or it's worse than UKIP. And you think, well, fine, but Labour's meant to stand for some things that...
We're going to have to leave it. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to leave it there. Sorry, Michael. Mr. Bastani, Lord Winston, thank you very much for being with us.